The year is 1995. A small company called Worlds Incorporated had released to the public a game that's believed to be the predecessor of famous online virtual roleplay video games such as, for example, Second Life. The game was called Worlds.com. The game went on to receive a pretty good response from the general public for the fact that the game was free, and at the time, it was incredibly revolutionary, keeping in mind that the game was released on the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s.
But, after its big uphill, it took an important downhill, due to the fact that game was no longer that relevant. So, considering that the last update to the game was in 2002, the game was surely discontinued and obsolete after that time. However, almost 10 years after the last update, a forum in the website 4chan went on to remind people of the game that they had forgotten about. But this time, they weren't reminded in the good way, they weren't reminded of how the game aged.
So, like we talked previously, the game recovered its popularity when the forum on 4chan popped up. It started a continuous thread where people started to interact with the anonymous user of the original post. However, the post wasn't meant to remember people of how the game had aged. The user wanted to point out that during the years of inactivity, Worlds.com became a clandestine alleyway that turned out to be operated for people that were working in the dark, in complete silence.
The user supposedly revealed that the players would use the servers for pretty dark action manners, such as drug consume and drug selling, pornography, satanic cults and other illegal acts were happening in real time in the active servers. People accessed the game only to realize that, yeah, in fact, real-life players were on the main lobby. After that, YouTubers took advantage of the situation and decided to expose everything that was going on Worlds.com to the general public. A very well-known Spanish YouTuber called Jordi Wild made 3 videos explaining everything about the game. In the videos, he mentioned how the game was fragmented into different worlds and how certain users had access to worlds that other players just didn't have. He also mentioned how there was one user known to have a direct connection to the other worlds that people thought were unsettling. The name of the user was
Nexialist,
and was very recognizable for the fact that his skin would have a bleeding horse head, and supposedly he had access to different cults as well. Later, an Argentinian YouTuber by the username of Parchik went more in depth into the game and found how there were photos of the original players of the game back in 1995, but how there was the email address and the picture of the creator of the original game, Jimbly. This discovery was very unsettling due to the fact that later, they found naked photos of the original creator and players, and to finish it all off, Parchik found photos of the already mentioned Spanish YouTuber, Jordi, and they had added a photo of Parchik's personal Instagram to the gallery. Although this story was sort of completed once Jordi Wild made another video about the game where he explained how the alleged rumors of drugs, cults and other acts was just simply not real. In the video, he stated that he had reached out to 2 different players that told him that every single one of the rumors was fake and that nothing that was in the game was going to cause him or his loved ones harm.
He conseguido hablar con 2 personas que están normalmente y a día de hoy utilizando Worlds.com, que no diré su nick para que no les toquéis los cojones, y que me han dado permiso para poder estar ahí dentro, y me han asegurado de que a día de hoy no hay nada ni satánico, ni raro, ni de tema de menorcillos, ni cosas ilegales.
But this leaves us with a couple doubts. Why were people using the game to commit these supposed actions? And is the game not related to anything illegal or demonic? Like Jordi Wild stated, in the end, the game was turned in a creepypasta and people still believe that game isn't a safe spot. So, would you enter into Worlds.com?